Greetings and welcome to This Random Insight. My name is Glenn Garnes with Village Connector Community, and I'm joined by Josh Silverstone of Aces Rays. We've been talking with Josh about how the game of poker offers so many deeper lessons into being peak performers in life, in business, and in our careers. And we're going to talk a little bit right now with Josh about advice he might have for fellow entrepreneurs or people aspiring to become entrepreneurs. So, Josh, I want to thank you for sharing this random insight today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So, I guess a great place to start, because this is really where it started for me, is a book, a Bible, if you will, not the Bible, but some people would consider it that. That's, I think, near and dear to both of us and a lot of people around here at the Village, which is Think and Grow Rich. And that was one of the first books I really ever read cover to cover. Like many others, I felt like the words were intended for me as I was reading it. Before I really started my entrepreneurial journey, it was more of a personal development journey first that then led itself to an entrepreneurial journey, at least for me personally. And one of the great things that came from that, there's a modern day Napoleon Hill author named Greg Reed, who is commissioned by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. He's written other books that kind of stemmed from Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold story, which is a great one. Maybe that would be another good random insight just to tell that story, because I think it's a lot there. And Greg, in his book, shared a success equation that I think touches on a lot of really important things. So I just want to share, I think for this, I want to share this equation with everyone, because it was really, for me, I read it and saw it and was like, this is right on point. So the equation is P plus T times A plus F. So let me take a step back. I'll take it letter by letter.
We're gonna get deep on this one.
Yeah. So P is for passion. Right. And I could probably have a whole talk with passion, and, depending on who you talk to, they would say, oh, well, passion's important or it isn't important in starting a business. I think it is. It absolutely is. I mean, not just because that's what I did, but, wake up call. When you start your own business or go on this entrepreneurial endeavor, not every day is gumdrops and rainbows. Like, yes, are you doing something you love? Sure. But not every day is easy. You're still going to have challenges and things that you're going to have to overcome. So for me, the importance of passion is what helps you get through those tougher days. So I think that is a critical piece, and I totally agree with Greg in this regard. The T is talent. And I think, okay, it makes sense. All right, do what I love. All right, talent, do what you're good at. Because there's some people that will say, focus on your weaknesses. No. I mean, yeah, I guess it's sure that's something you should, work on over time, but much more energy should be spent on the areas where you're already excelling, where you're already good at, whether they're skills or gifts. In other words, gifts are more innate abilities that you were born with. Skills are things that you develop over time. But if you play in the world where you're focusing on the things that you're good at, you're going to add more value. You're going to be happier. There's so many benefits to that alone that it just makes sense. And for the things that you're not good at, well, that's where other people come in. That's where teams come in.
Let me stop you there for just a moment,
ahead.
because you got my head spinning here. I got something in my mind I want to share, and I don't know how long this will last.
That's all right. Go for it.
But I heard P and T. So P was passion, and I've got a little alliteration exercise here, which is that passion propels you past procrastination.
There you go.
Okay, and then T is for talent. That's what you said?
That's right.
Talent takes you to the top.
Hey.
So I'm gonna see if I can keep going with these.
Okay, I like this.
We'll see how long I can go with this, but that's another indication that I'm paying attention.
Awesome. That's good stuff.
But those first two insights. I mean, this is how people remember things, though, and when life starts to happen around you, these little acronyms are reminders of how to keep your GPS taking you in the right direction. Yeah. And that's why Greg Reed it's the Napoleon Hill Foundation is doing a fantastic job of positioning people to be peak performers. There's another little bit of alliteration. But the point I'm trying to make is that we sometimes don't spend enough time with books. we sometimes don't spend enough time thinking and seeking out self-education. You know, one of my favorite speakers, Jim Rohn, used to say that formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune.
That's right.
And the real opportunity for us is after we've graduated from high school and college and graduate school. That's where the real learning begins, when we get into the education that comes through living life as, you know, as a human being. So thank you for those first two points. We've got passion and talent, and now you're going to take us to the next one.
Absolutely. So the next two they're in their own bracket, A times A. So the first A is associations. Okay, the people around you. So I was talking about before that, you know, the team is really important, and there's a lot of solopreneurs, you know, that are out on their own. It's hard. It's actually impossible. Let me just put it that way. And I learned, you know, that I don't have all the answers, and I need to seek help or advice or counsel from other people, or delegate things to other people, or hey, there's things that I'm not good at, but that's really what other people are good at, so they can be doing that. So, you know, you can't build anything great alone. You know, one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite mentors is from Glenn Garnes, which is many hands make light work.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think that's just so, I think that's so on point. I think it's so on point. So the people around you are really what's going to help propel you forward, and that's why what the village stands for and is all about, I think, is just, it's critical. It really is critical.
So here's for the A, the first A.
All right.
Associations, access, assets.
You guys should have a pen out there. I mean, I should have a pen. This is fantastic.
And assets, it's not just monetary assets. We're talking about people resources, information, ideas. The people you know are a wealth of resource to you and on so many different levels. And, you know, Dr. Hill talks about, I know Greg Reed teaches Dr. Hill's principles, but one of the first things that he teaches in another book that he wrote, we won't go into detail about it other than to say that it's The Law of Success in 16 Lessons, is the definite chief aim, where he teaches you how to have clarity about what you're trying to accomplish, a plan for how you'll attain it. And the third element of success with that is picking the people who are going to cooperate with you to make it happen. And what you just talked about was the associations. The quality of the people that you associate with determine the level at which you have access to the assets that allow you to succeed.
That's right.
And you become that for other people as well. We sometimes forget about that. It's not just about people being in your network for your benefit. You're there for their benefit as well.
So a quote that I heard Greg Reed say, because I had the opportunity to meet him at a CEO Space event. He was one of the speakers, and we talked for a little bit afterwards. And one of the things he said that was really impactful for me, and someone else may have said it, but I'm quoting him because that's where I heard it. He said, "You'll be no different than you are in 5 years, except for two things: the people you spend the most time with, and the books that you read."
Exactly.
Which I think could be the things that you learn, whether it's book or audio or video or however. But the information that you put in your head and the people that you associate with the most, you're going to be the sum of those.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's the next A? And
So,
now you got me on a roll here.
So the next A is action. So, you know, we spent some time earlier talking about critical thinking and decision making, and, you know, that it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's, I'm going to think critically, take a step back, and come up with a plan so that I can work that plan. So things aren't going to just come to you because you wish it. You know, law of attraction is great. You know, I think that concept is on point. I believe we do manifest and create the world that we want around us, but like just sitting and wishing for something isn't enough. You have to take action in the direction of the things that you really want. And if you do that, I do believe that you can have, do, or be anything you want in this world, as long as you're willing to work for it and put in the time and put in the effort and be consistent is, I think, really, really important.
Nice.
Any alliteration before I move on?
I'm working on that one. My first thought was action achieves, and then
anything.
There you go. So now you've just seen one of the most important principles that comes from the Napoleon Hill Foundation and Dr. Hill, and I know Greg is a believer in this, the mastermind principle.
That's right. Critical.
Which is people coming together in perfect harmony for a definite purpose. And our purpose here with these random insights is to help you gain deeper insight into how to take control of your outcomes in life. take control of your life and the things that you want to be in a position to create for yourself. And what we're talking about right now with this mastermind principle is that Josh and I are in harmony with each other in delivering quality content to you. And so we're working together. It's not he trying to one-up me with his idea. We're trying to participate in the best solution possible for the ultimate goal of educating you. And so thank you for that one. So
the last one, the F in this equation is faith. Is faith. And faith is belief. Not a religious faith necessarily. It's more of a confidence, a belief in yourself, because we're really talking about change. So we can look at what is, but if you look ahead and you think about what you want to become or what you want out of it, or what you want to grow into, there needs to be a degree of faith that it's possible to have. So if you don't have that piece, some could call it positivity, some could call it, cup half full, whatever works for you. But being to put your mind to something, you have to have that passion. You do what you love. You got to have the talent, do what you're good at. You have to take action. You have to reach out to people, but you got to come to a place that you believe that it actually can happen.
Yeah. And belief is so fundamental, because it's the thing that lets us know that despite the resistance that we might experience along the way, that if, as Dr. Hill says, what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
That's right.
And it's so true, and that all starts with faith. So let me offer my acronym or my alliteration for faith.
Yes.
So faith forms foundation.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Because all these other things you've talked about, you can have all the talent in the world, and if you don't believe that you do, you don't believe that you have the ability to put that talent to work, it doesn't matter.
That's right. Or you won't take the opportunities that come to you because you don't really know if you can or if it's right or whatever the case may be.
And it doesn't matter how passionate you are. If you don't believe that passion can be translated into something, the passion is then wasted. Mm-hmm. If you don't have faith, then you're less inclined to take the action. So all of these things, that's why faith forms foundation. It's the platform on which everything else evolves.
That's right.
Wow, this has been a great insight.
That's awesome.
I've learned some things myself just from participating in this process. So, well, if you did not find value in what Josh has just shared with you, I would strongly encourage you to go back and listen to this over and over again, because you totally missed it, because the value is there. Josh, thank you so much for sharing this random insight. And I encourage you to get connected to Josh. Then you'll find Josh there. Get connected to him. Follow him. He's a wealth of wisdom, and he would be a great person to associate with. So on behalf of Josh Silverstone of Aces Raised, this is Glenn Garnes with Village Connector Community.